everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Cohort 3, the one in physical sitting in front of me, and also the one on virtual at Zoom. So we have one team is from Indonesia that couldn't make it today. That's why she is on virtual Zoom. So later we will be face-to-face introducing that team. But before that, let me do a quick introduction to myself. So my name is Lemmy, from 137 Matches. So I'm the one who's texting and also emailing you about the applications and all the news matters. So you will keep receiving my email for the next 2 to 3 months. So yeah, welcome again to the onboarding session for Digital Tourism Innovation Lab Cohort 3. So we have been only 2 cohorts previously, and this is the last cohort of the year. So yeah, before to kickstart the event, I will have one Bradley from MDEC. Yeah, Bradley from MDEC to talk about to introduce about MDEC, at the same time also a bit more about this initiative, like why we start and also why we have all these kind of solutions here. Yeah, thank you.
And also good. Right, so first of all, thank you very much for coming. We are happy to host you here today, and congratulations for making it into the program. So I'm here today to talk about MDEC in general, as well as focusing on Digital Tourism Innovation Lab. Right, so my name is Razin from the Digital Tourism Department at MDEC. Today, together with me here is Shazli, and also quite a part of the department. Right? So MDEC is a government agency under the purview of the Ministry of Digital, and we were established in 1996, and looking into implementation of MSC Malaysia in the beginning, and we have also since then catalyzed digital solution and improved more information until today. So I will also later on share with you our transition from MSC to MD. Right, so what is MDEC and what we do? MDEC is the high-powered implementation agency for specifically for the things, tech and digital economy. Right, so how do we do this? Is that through industry development? So we build and develop tech companies and keep the tools. Right, so this one we cover talent, funding, regulatory, and more, and also we look into trade. So usually when we talk about trade, we think of commodities, right? What we do is that we export investments and also our companies, technology and talent, to the international market. And also, when we are sitting in the chain in government, is that we are very close to the policy makers. So we do policy influencing as well. So this is where we do industrial engagement, transformation, and key intervention to the government. Right, so for example, like what we do here, all the feedback that we got from the industry, from the tourism tech players, all this valuable input will also extend it to the government so that more intervention can be happening later. Right, so the impact created by MDEC from 1996 until 2022, so we have more than 2,700 MD companies, and we have generated more than 423,000 jobs in Malaysia. And we secured more than 480,000, 80 billion investments, which translates to 745 billion in revenue. And in terms of the exporting of our digital talents, solution and whatnot, so we have reached 270 billion. Right, so the impact that we have been bringing to the country, there are 4 phases altogether. So the first one is 1996 to 2004. And now we are at phase 4. We are looking at driving digital economy so that the contribution to GDP will be hitting 25.5% by 2025. Yeah? Okay, so our 2030 target, we are looking at more than 170 billion in terms of investment. So far, that we have realized by 2022 at 55.4 billion. And in terms of revenue, we are looking at 200 billion. So far, that we have already almost at 50% already. And in terms of job, we are also more than almost half already that we have achieved. And in terms of export, currently that we have realized almost at 50%. Right, so that was as of 2022. So we are pretty much on track, and some of them that will already exceeded as we are approaching 2025. And our focus remains steadfast in terms of attracting high-value digital investment, driving digital adoption, and also to grow local tech companies. So that's why how we deliver this, all by introducing our National Digital Initiative, which is a strategic initiative building on the strong foundation established by MSC. So if you have been, in industry for quite some time, you have checked out Malaysia, Multimedia Super Corridor, right? Which was very location based. Now that with MD, we are venturing into digital, so we look into digital investments as well, right? Okay, and all this is made possible through these 10 tech enablers. We're looking at BDFN, Web3, advanced 5G, value connectivity, and all that. Right? And because without all this, whatever that we are looking into, like all these investments, the revenue, and whatnot, will not be happening. Right, so our focus right now in terms of the industry development, we are looking at these 9 pillars, what we call as promoted sectors. So we look at digital finance, digital trade, agriculture, tourism, content services, health, and cities. Right, so as we all stand here today, we are right under digital tourism. And the reason why we're looking specifically into this is because the tourism ICT market is expected to spend at 198 billion by 2026. Right, so there's a huge chunk of market that we would love to see all of you are tapping into it later through your solutions. Right, so now, what is digital tourism? So it's a sector that innovates and generates new business opportunities to ensure we continue to be competitive and to ensure our growth, and also to ensure that our development is sustainable for the sector. Right? Okay, so why we are doing this is because we are looking at the evolution of the industry itself. Like the first phase back in the 2000s, I think most of us already there last time, right? Or anyone who were born after the year 2000. Right here. Come on. Okay. Alright. So in this one, invest first one. So invest first two, Alright. So first one, we're looking into like the emergence of technologies like email, intranet, all this dial-up internet. I think you guys remember that, right? Okay, and that's when businesses, especially in the tourism industry, they start to, for example, like marketing, they start to actually use all this, right? And then come the second phase in the 2000s, we're looking at the use of smartphones, and then people start to use graphic software on the computer, and then start to have computerized ticketing system. I still remember when last time I was looking, was that one of our clients is Star Cruise, right? So in Parkland, there is one giant building where they used to put telemarketers, right? And 10 years back, they had to empty the building because telemarketers at that point of time were not relevant anymore. Right? So everyone did booking online, right? So that was the transition of the phase. And now we are here at the verge of the next transition, 2010 onwards. So the technologies that we right now deploy in tourism, AR, VR, mobile apps, cloud computing, wearables, social media, and whatnot. Okay, so we are moving from digitalization at that point of time now towards digitalization. I think that is where we are heading to. Right. So looking at digital touch point of a traveler. Right. So a traveler, what we see is that they all start with inspiration first. They've got an idea where to go, and then they want to be preparing for it, and they go for their destination. And lastly is what happened after the travel. Right. So along these touch points, there are solutions that are already in the market. Right. So looking at data structures, OTA, super app, social media, transportation, and all that. Right. And then, however, this smart solution exists in a lot of platforms, but one of the things that we see now is that there are lack of integration between all this. And there are parties who actually do like super apps and all that, just to actually merge all this experience together so that they can capture the bigger market. Right. So maybe you can take a look at where you are and where are the areas that the investors can potentially tap into. Next, also we see that there are increasing demand from travelers and also the potential that we have in the global market. So the tourism, the consumer nowadays, when it comes to tourism industries, that they want more personalized packages, right? So platforms that can actually do all, where they can book their hotels, their experiences, they can actually plan their travel, the trips. Right, so I think the one is more preferred by our travelers nowadays, and most of the travelers they rely everything on mobile, so that if your solution is not mobile friendly, you have to find ways to look into that, right? And then they want their travel to have sustainable options, and also they want their travel to be experience driven, not just go one place, stay satu malam and balik. That's it. So we are looking at more rich experience as they travel. Right. And then maybe also we're looking at potential ICT spending up to close to 200 billion by 2026. Right. So now where our market is right now, as we are projecting to 2025 is at 8 billion USD. Right. So that's a really huge chunk of market that we can actually tap into. So that is why we run this program, Digital Tourism Innovation Lab, because based on the study that we did with Frost and Sullivan, we identify these 4 hotspots. These are what potentially be in the market in the next few years. Right. One is smart inspiration. Right. So there is a potential in market for AI and machine learning driven tourism promotion. AR and VR driven promotion of destination. We know that there are some that actually already started doing this, right? But there's also potential market growing in the future. As people get more used to wearables, right? And then also connected travel, also a market for that. I think there are also a few players already tapped into that. So one app can do all. Right? So because in the end of the day, we want the customer to be sticky to our platform. And also the platform has the ability to provide all. Right? So it's going to be a seamless experience for the traveler themselves. And in terms of immersive travel as well, there's a potential market in there. There are demands, especially when the younger market segment looking into more gamified experience when we go for travel. And also immersive entertainment options. It's something that also in the future for the travel industry. And last one is preservation of culture and heritage in terms of digitalization of assets, immersive digital experience, delivery of experience, and also based IP-driven content. It's also a new market that is not many people are. I think a lot of companies started doing this at the height of NFT, in the height of metaverse 2 years back. It might kind of slow down right now, but I think moving into future, there is a market for that maybe you want to tap into. All right, now the Digital Tourism Innovation Lab program that we are running now is a program that we intend as a platform to support the innovation of tourism tech solutions. The reason being is because when we launched this program, we realized that there are a lot of startup programs in the market, but then there are no program that is looking specifically into the tourism tech pillar. Right? So we intend to do that because we know that it's a growing market, and then we know that when we started this off, we met a few local tourism tech companies who told us that they need support. They need actually access to the tourism stakeholders. And so that's why we come up with a program specifically focusing on to increase the supply of tourism tech solutions and also to match the supply with the industry. And ultimately, what we want to do is we want to build a tourism tech startup communities here in Malaysia. Right? So by being in the program, welcome guys, as part of the tourism tech community. And the program opens for local and global tech companies. So like today, there are a few companies from, we have one from Indonesia, this looking at us remotely right now. And also we open this program for startups and also for established companies that are coming up with new products, right? And also our grant recipients. And the key component in the program, we always start with ideation first. That's why when you submit your proposal, when you submit your application, you look at what problem statement that you guys are addressing, right? And we bring into this program industry-led programs. We have support from our partners. And ultimately, what we want to do is to push your solution into the industry, right? And so these are the problem statements and opportunities that we have validated with our tourism sector players. Right, I'll go with the first top 5. One is current manual check-in process result in inefficiencies and delays leading to suboptimal staff utilization. This one is more in the hotel and accommodation industry. Right? So there's a demand for that right there and then if you want to see. And then number 2, the fragmented nature of booking processes among consumers, businesses, and providers lead to inefficiencies and missed opportunities for integration. You can see that there are so many platforms nowadays, but then this platform do not talk to each other, right? So some form of integration is in the market right now for you guys. And number 3, current tourist experience is not seamless, online and on-site. Fragmented information and bookings, non-integrated platforms and system, non-digital payments on-site, etc. I can take this one example for OTAs, for example. There are still issues like overbooking, right? So your booking is already confirmed on the platform, but then when you go on the at the hotel and whatnot, there's no more good back. Right. So that happens because there are underlying integration problem that is still faced by the industry. And number 4, existing workforce administration practices lack a systematic approach to customer data retention and financial planning. For now, I think like for example, like if I again use the example of hotels, right, like smaller players, like small budget hotels, they do not have all this. Right, some of them uses like mom and pop kind of hotel building, right? So they do not do all this data retention, financial records and whatnot. There's no remarketing to their customers and whatnot. And the fifth one is limited access to affordable innovative revenue automation and property management system. Again, this is for mainly for OTAs. There are solutions out there, but provided by international companies, which can come to them at a hefty price tag. Whereas sometimes they just take few components of the system. So if you have local builders or local solution providers like you guys that can actually provide something that just like what the industry really needs at lower cost, there's something that they look forward into. Right, so we have run the first 2 cohorts. We had 86 applications from the first 2 cohorts, and 17 were actually approved. So these are the companies, and you guys are here in our cohort 3. So we had 31 applications. Out of that, 8 of you guys are here. We're chosen from that application number. And also now for this cohort, we have support from all these industry players. So we have Cloak and we have AWS incoming, and also we have Pagoda incoming as well into the program. So looking forward to see how you guys perform in the program later. I think that's about it. Thank you very much.
For sharing with us about the business plan and also about the tourism initiative. Next, we'll have Vikash to introduce about what that one thing mentioned do, why we are the program partner and also the team.
So yeah, congrats again to cohort 3. Well done to the 8 of you. But before we go any further, let's kind of get to know each other here, right? So we have some of the past cohorts here. Maybe you guys can introduce yourselves too. But before I move on to us, we want to just know who's in the room. So if each of you could kind of stand up, tell us your name and a little bit about the startup so that the rest of the cohort can also know who they're going up against in this particular program. Let's start with you guys in the front, LFG. Yeah, so they get in the front and center, see you. The rest can stay there. Just put you in the front, yeah, you can see us. Put you in the spot. Use the mic.
All right, hi guys, I'm Daryl. This is Shield, my co-founder. So we're LFG here, the one who came to build an airplane. So what's our startup? What's our one-liner? We're a discovery engine that brings you personalized travel recommendations, mostly for Gen Zs, and we bring them personalized curated travel and lifestyle recommendations from creators that they trust. So yeah, that's us.
Alright, cool. Moving on to the next one. Here you go.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm from XUG Technologies. So XUG creates virtual tours that help brands and businesses digitize their engagement and storytelling. We do that using immersive technologies and virtual tours.
Okay, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Brandon. I'm founding Cohort. We're essentially still an idea. But the idea of it's a little bit ironic because we want to be offline, but we're also going to be online to create curated experiences within Malaysia, such as the natural serenity and beauty that we have here so that everyone can experience.
Good afternoon, my name is JC. I'm from Epic Travel. We actually been working on a project for year plus already. One liner is travel share. Basically, what we connect travel individuals to travel.
Okay, nice. Right, yeah, Borgo.
Hey guys, my name is Imran. So this is Nazish, my co-founder. So we are from Cohort. So what we are doing is online travel booking system, but we are mainly focused on marine tourism. So Cohort will be like a one-stop solution for all marine tourism. Yes.
So much. Coming to the back here, Mr. Richards.
Hi, this is Richards, and my co-founder is Jenny. We are Team Info. We keep your preferences and bookings across platforms intact. That's what we do using a unique ID, and we hope to defragment travel.
Very good. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nadir. So we are doing Jomodel.com, which is an online adventure travel platform for people to get to find their next adventures.
Well, thanks.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nancy. I've just arrived from Dubai yesterday. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Zero.com, which is an online travel portal focused currently on flight bookings. So we integrate, our strength is API integration. So we integrate different suppliers, top flight consolidators from every top regions to provide you with the best low fares flight booking content and soon hotels as well. B2C and B2B, and we serve over 500 customers at the moment.
Very good. Thank you so much. So let's go online and hear from Pilgrim Pal.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi guys.
how's
Nice meeting you all. I am Gary. My friends Teddy and then Ayub here from Pilgrim Pal. We are creating a solution for preventing people from going missing whenever they are in Umroh and Hajj pilgrimage by using a simulated interactive learning before their departure and also a navigated an emergency button whenever they already depart into Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much.
Very cool. Thank you for that. We've got some of our older cohorts here. So since you're in the room, why not get to know each other? I'll start here with Boss Rack.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ain from Cohort. So what we do, we are creating online platform for adventure tourism, where we connect the adventure operator with the user so that they can curate their next adventure with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Baslan, co-founder CEO of Rehan. we do automation for hotels and homestays. Basically attacking the line item 1 and 2, the problem statement just now. So yeah, looking forward to get to know and of course collaborate together. And just to share, these program will definitely help you prepare for any VC pitches. Trust me on that.
Thank you. All right, well done. All right, so you met everyone in some of the past cohorts. I think there'll be some more coming in possibly later itself. So do network, see how you can have synergy between each other. Friendly competition is always great. And let's talk a little bit about this thing. So yeah, talk about the past cohorts too. So this is third cohort, right? So in terms of who came in the first one, I wouldn't say I would say it's been very diverse in terms of audience, and every cohort I can see we're going deeper and deeper into the problem statements, and I think this batch we've got really interesting takes on things. There will be some kind of repetitiveness, but it's always interesting to see that everyone kind of go deeper and find a new segment of that approach of OTA. We've seen like 3 approaches of OTA across 3 cohorts. So we have the likes of Chari Makan, food discovery, Colorverse, Razik was talking about earlier, NFTs and the metaverse. So they were looking at trying to get influencers within the realm of working in NFTs. We had Mari Rehat, he's actually in another program we're running now with the Live Street Challenge. I think he's coming in later on homestays. There's Travel Wala, the first OTA that came in the program. There was, remind me again what the other one was again? Spring Place, they're from Korea, right? Basically positioning Korean products, or whether Malaysian products or any products, product placements within Korean K-dramas and shows like Running Man. We had Doctor on Call, so there's medical tourism, Pidgey, Ocean Buddy, and Hello Local. So that's cohort 1. Cohort 2, we saw things on remote working, Wonderworks, pretty good found like that. Of course, we saw Rehat just now, along with Boss Rack. We had Trip Click, kind of OTA style, like what you're trying to do. Go Wild was more on halal tourism. We had Loka, local discovery, especially in northern territories. They were quite active in Langkawi. Medtrip, another concept of medical tourism, and Secoms. You're going to see some examples of Secoms later on. We are actually speaking to them to kind of help them eventually raise up capital next. So that was cohort 2, and then you met cohort 3. So we're in talks with MDEC to see that, you know, it's such an interesting mission. Every cohort we go deeper, we find some amazing companies, not just here, but all the way from Dubai. So we're thinking like extending this program until next year, and basically doing a few more cohorts in this, and really build that community like what Razin was talking about within the travel and tourism space. So then all of you can support each other and see how you can build on top of what each other that you're basically trying to do. So a little bit about us. So I'm the founding partner of Lead Ventures. We're geeks, so we spell things with numbers. 1337 means LEET, L-E-E-T. We were the first accelerator here in Malaysia. What does that mean? That means we've been trying to basically build a whole local ecosystem of startups. Like many agencies we closely work with. Well, we've been doing this on a cohort basis. So this could be some of the cohorts we talked about. Every year we run about 4 cohorts that try to thematic or generic, and we run 60 batches across the last 10 years. We're trying to enable over thousands and thousands of founders. And we don't just invest in them, we also raise capital. I think every year we raise at least over 20 million for our startups. We just one company, we just closed one startup, $4 million US the other day itself. So just one company raising close to 20 million. So capital is always there. The main issue we always find is capital or locators can't find people like you because so deep into the business, you have no time to look out there and search for this capital. So programs like this is basically like what they were saying just now, right? We're here to guide you on the whole process of capital raising, structuring your business, get you ready in terms of what do you tell investors and why they should invest in you. We want to help you with that specific journey because that's what we're kind of great at doing. So across the last 10 years, we've been building different components just to help startups get out of that valley of debt, right? From like in this case, this program from a discovery perspective. So we have a website called muku.com where we put in not just problem statements, but for you to discover every grant, every VC, anyone who's ever invested in Malaysia, along with a section of problem statements. The same thing like this DTIL program, the idea was telling you what's worth solving. We're meeting investors and problem statement providers in terms of in this space of travel, tourism, hospitality, what are the gaps? So even though you may have an approach, but you can always pivot and tweak your approaches to where these particular partners and potential customers want you to basically go. right? So we're hoping the more we do these kind of batches, the more we shout out there, like these are areas that are still gaps that's not been solved. People like you can solve it, or new people will basically come into the market and solve for it. And there's capital for that. So I think Learning showed us 2 logos. And these were VCs in Singapore specifically built for this industry, Garage and Velocity. And they've got capital to allocate into these businesses, and they're out looking for it. So for these kind of programs, they always come in and see whether does this fit the bill of what they're looking for and potentially invest in. Worst case, they can give you advice, connect you to the rest of their portfolios. So the connection, the networks are always going to basically grow before you join the program, right? So what we've been doing is just helping you elevate from learning the basics. So you all have access to the online program that we do across all our courses, getting access then to a little bit more structured approach to fundraising. So we see potential in you. There are many ways we could possibly invest ourselves. We could basically take you to our angel club and raise you more capital. That's something we're doing with SecCom right now. Then eventually, if you need even more amounts of largest capital, we also have the crowdfunding license that you can basically raise up to 20 million from the public. So then we can kind of string things along. So there's no one size fits all. Our approach is we'll find out what's best for you. You may not need capital, but you just need more partners, more validation on your products. So that's why we come in to help you figure those things out. Because over the last decade, we made great relationships, not just with other startups, but with corporates, and we know where the gaps are. So our role is, you can see now, every batch we're adding new partners, from Tourism Malaysia to now we need Coda, we need Klook. Of course, there's always AWS and Microsoft there to support this, depending on what infrastructure you use. But as we know what specific gaps you have, it's always a phone call, a couple of phone calls away to say that we need this so-and-so partner to come in and speak to this particular portfolio or this particular startup, because I think there's some synergy in how we can basically help each other. Everyone's out there looking for ways that they can grow their access, grow their networks, grow their revenue streams. So I think today, it's all about collaboration. So the startups are willing to work with corporates, corporates are willing to work with startups. It's like ducks talking to chickens. So we come in and become that translator and connect the two of you together. And working with agencies and regulators, people like Tourism Malaysia, MOTAC, MDEC, and anybody else in between that you need to have access to. This is where when we assign you the mentors, their role is to go under the hood and find out what is it that you basically need. So you have to also give back, right? As you have your discussion with your mentors, the more you share, the more you ask, the more we can basically figure out how to craft that program to suit you better. So that if you're just kind of passive, then you're not going to get any benefit from the program. So we're hoping by just keeping this team here so niche, so small, just like 8 startups from a pool of 31, we wanted to curate a better experience in the workshops where we basically have engagements with you. So please communicate with the mentors. All right, so I'm going to pass this on back to Lervin for a bit, and then I'll come back again to do some content with you. But Lervin, tell us a little bit more about how the program works.
Okay, thanks, Vikesh. So yeah, before that, you can also take out your put to screen the QR code. Basically, you already have the info deck at your email from the email that I sent, or you can also access through the link. I will just briefly go through the big picture of what you will be going through and who you meet. So about the cohort, so as you can see, it should be a 6 to 8 weeks of structure. So what you will be going through is online academy, which is basically late academy. So most of you have already signed an account and start watching the video and start reading your book. Good job for that. And then move on, we also have mentoring sessions where you will have FaceTime with your mentors on a weekly basis. So where you will go through the output of your workbook at the same time also discuss about on your research and get some guidance. So we also have external who will be coming in for webinar and also consultancy. So we'll show you who are the speaker and also what are the schedule aligned for already. And also office hour sessions where this is where we will talk about connect and also talk about potential collaboration with JD from the list of partners where Razit showed at the beginning on the list. And then the most exciting part, which is demo day, where you will pitch in front to demonstrate your solutions to gain investor attention. So this is on big pictures on how the structure will be, and this is what we'll be going through for the next 6 to 8 weeks. In detail, weekly on mentoring sections, we'll be covering some topics. So this is how it is distributed. And this is where you can gain all the videos online through the academy. So this is where you can watch it first. And then just a brief on the schedule. So it is also already in your calendar invite. So if you want to add more team to calendar, so just send me the email of your team members so I can just add them in. But this is basically how it is distributed on a weekly basis. And lastly, also your mentors. So just get to know them. We have first mentor Richard, who will be mentoring LFG and also Thoughtful. We have also Ronnie over there on your right, who will be mentoring Epic Ventures, Cohort, and also they will bring out. We also have Max and the back, who will be mentoring both home, outdoor, and also activity. So I know some of you have already check go to their email. So if any one of you that haven't do so, please do so, and you can find their email address in the email as well, or the info text. Yeah, so these are the mentor, you'll be meeting them weekly. And inside that, as Vikas mentioned, we also have VCs that will be coming in. So this is the schedule we look like. It will be on 1st of October. So every one of you will have around 10 minutes of FaceTime with them, where you will get to pitch to them and also get their advice and suggestions to how to improve business and or idea better. So this is on the VC card. On the industry partner, so you will press meeting tourism relations, and then we also have MICA, so you also holiday and so more that will be uploaded and also scheduled on the timeline. So in terms of the exact schedules, date, and also time, it will be directly sent to your calendar. So according to your business needs, Mentor will suggest which one that you should spoke to. Of course, along the way, if they think that there are more company or partners that you should talk to, so we make a connection. So this is on the office hour. Basically, it's a 20 minutes for you to discuss on any collaboration that you can work with. And then on the webinar consultancy, so we have Food Media, basically Malaysia Foodie. So it will be on next Friday, the day of September. So it's also already in the calendar. We also have people that will come in to talk about marketing trend and also consumer trend that they had, the report and survey that they have. So we have those. And then for AWS, we're waiting for them to come back with the schedule. And also whether it will be on before September. Yeah. So any questions on the schedule? So anything you can just text me or ask in the WhatsApp group that we have, and then I will be able to answer it. Okay, then I will pass it back to Vikash on the pitch deck.
Yeah, so the key thing is, as we go through the program, we'll definitely want to prepare you for things like this, right? You're only going to get 10 minutes to speak to the VC. So you don't want to say like, the first 5 minutes I'm going to run my entire pitch deck to them, and then just have 5 minutes of Q&A. It's going to be a waste of time. The VCs will already get your decks free before that. So the key is how to use that time specifically. So as you will have sessions with your mentors before that, they will basically be guiding you in terms of saying how you should position yourself. So first, we're also kind of helping you position through more various channels. What are things they want to hear? What are things they want to know? These are things you as a founder needs to understand what VCs look out for, what's a red flag, what's not a red flag, and make sure that you go ahead and execute that plan. Same thing goes with the partners, right? Stuff they will help you out with is like specifically know what your asks are. Don't start every time you have a session with a partner, you go do the A to Z pitch again. Partners just want certain things. Someone like Tourism Malaysia is not a venture capital firm, so there's no point telling them all the issues. You're telling them the problem of tourism today, they're the Ministry of Tourism. Don't state the obvious, just cut to the chase. So how do you utilize your time properly? Those are the things that we'll coach you on. So today, kind of just setting the stage on what we want to see at the end. It's going to be a demo day. So the demo day is going to be kind of attended by a lot of venture capital firms, investors, angels, government agencies, the likes of the ecosystem, as you could call it. So you're going to be on stage putting your best foot forward. So I want to show you what that should look like, what it should entail. And then it's your working backwards, right? You'll know that throughout the next how many weeks you have with us, how do you basically get all this evidence to build a deck? I know some of you may have something, but there's always a different take on how you tell a story. So we want to see whether we can improve on on that storytelling tips that you may want. So typically every pitch has three main things. A pitch is always just to sell someone something. In this case, you're selling equity so that they invest into your business. So there's one aspect you have to talk about, the desirability. That means this is something people want, right? How do you prove that? It's got to have a viability around it. That means thing that I'm going to basically show you that people want. There's a lot of people that want this. It's big enough. And the third one is when you talk about the feasibility, like I can build that thing that people want and the market is big enough for. If you can't prove this, there's no point you talk about it too. Most of the investors know this too, right? That's why they are investing in travel, tourism, or that sector, because they know there's a need for it. They know the market is big. They just want to know, are you the team to figure this out? So certain things are very obvious. You may want to spend time on this. But where they always want to be surprised, because they know problems in travel, tourism, hospitality. So when you can tell it in a different way, you can go more deeper and find a different approach or another angle of the problem that even the VC that invests in the space go like, huh, that's the first I've heard that take on it. That's when you know you have something. Anyone who listens to a pitch, walks away learning something from a pitch, will love the pitch more than like, oh God, it's another OTA. You don't want them to be like, oh God, another OTA. It's going to be like, oh my God, this is the OTA. So that's a skill set you have to basically learn across the business. Okay, so let's just talk about what the deck company composes of. So the first part is trying to get them to be like, whoa, this is a great product. And for that, because it's the obvious title slide, but the key things you want here is to talk about the problem in the industry. Sometimes it's not really a problem, but it's an opportunity in the market. So you got to define, is this a problem today? Or is it a first world kind of problem that people call an opportunity because of AI, because of access, because of internet, because of the post-COVID world, whatever. There's an opportunity where the solution that I'm going to talk about needs to exist. If the solution is really complex, you want to go in and talk about how it works. If it's not so complex, I mean, you'll still kind of surface level show how it works, but you don't have to make it too intricate and how it works to the point of, this is how they log into my system. This is how they go set up. Nobody cares about that. Everybody wants to just see like 1, 2, 3. Show me how to get to the end in 3 simplistic steps. It's not the actual 3 steps, but just to show that these are the 3 things you will do in a journey to get there. That's it. Don't complicate it, right? So if it's something more complicated because you've got blockchain and crypto, blah, 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 then yeah, you may want to show some kind of process flow and how things look at the back if it needs to be explained. But again, when we do pitches, we call it selling the sizzle and not the steak. You want to make it so attractive that the person listening will want to ask you questions to go under the hood. But don't bore them with the white paper and studies on the background and they go like, nah, I don't care anymore, right? So how much is enough? That's a practice you must have. In fact, it's only 3 minutes and you basically have that. So you have to basically just have it condensed. So if you do this right, you feel like, whoa, that's an interesting take on the problem. Or if the problem is something I already know, that's an interesting version of your take on the problem. And I like your novel approach to the solution. It's not like something I've seen in the market. And how you solve it sounds plausible, right? So then you go into part 2, where you want to prove that if we can figure out how to do this, it's going to be really huge. Again, these are things investors would already kind of know. So when you talk about market size, over here, where they want to see the difference in market size is not a big market where they know everyone travels and it's of course in trillions of dollars. But where you start with, what is that one called SOP, right? What's obtainable to you today? So in your current state, with hardly any money, it's just starting in KL, starting in, if you're in Indonesia, Jakarta, what does that small market for your approach look like? Is that big enough? Is that worth basically saying a good point to start with? And it has ways to snowball into the addressable market. Okay, we'll talk about some of these things later on. So once they know that, you figure out that segment of the market to start and it makes sense and no one else in that space is not highly competitive, then okay, you want to know now how do you make money in the market? So this is where this could be obvious, but the business model again could be different. My approach to sell has a different way I charge customers. Whether it's a recurring model with a subscription, is it one-off? I've got a prepayment method. I basically find a normal way to basically get money into my pockets. This is where they want to know how are you going to get the money so that this market size you talk about so big can be basically addressed to be monetized itself. So the more unique this is, the more exciting people get. Especially, in startups, we always expect it to be some form of recurring revenue if possible. If possible. So once these two slides go hand in hand, there's always a couple of slides that come after. First, is there anybody else doing what you're doing? So from a competition angle, who else is doing this? And why do you think your approach is more novel than the others? So you can't say like there's no competition and nobody wants to, like you're the only crazy one that wants to do this. Chances are, when you're the only one doing it, it's more like other people tried and thought it was not worth the time doing it itself, right? So only once in a while we find when you say this, really no one doing this because you discovered a gem. Who knows? Maybe you are that person. But that's always a red flag when you say no one's bothered in this space. So explain how you're different. And then the last one is, of course, if the size makes sense, you have a great business model, other people are not really doing it the way you're doing it. Now prove to us you know how to get to market. What is the go-to-market plan? How do you start? And don't give us the most trivial, I'll do Facebook ads, I'll do Google, no one cares about that. Want to know how you're going to do stuff without spending too much money. So the trick for most companies to basically get into the market is, how do you leverage other people? So B2B2C is always the fastest way to go. B2C is nice, it's sexy, but it's damn expensive and you are broke. You have no money, right? That's why we're bringing all these partners in. MyMart, Tourism Malaysia, Moda, blah, 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 all these people, because they have access, they got distribution. Do you know how to help them? But it's not like going to give you access for free, right? So you got to give them something and then they give you something. So why is it in the bottom? Because they want to make money off you too. So if you got a novel way to basically get access to their customer base and make them money, and that's how partnerships work. It has to be win-win, right? So you got to do that. So when they hear that, they're like, oh, this has legs, this can be big. Final part you want to know is, all this you can goreng, as in you can make this up, you can always make something sound better than sliced bread. But the proof is when you talk about feasibility. Why you? Can you prove you are the team to pull this off? So one, of course, is to show some kind of track record. But if you're just starting like go operations, what traction do you have? You won't have any traction. So you got to find ways to create some form of achievements. Whether you're building a community now, created a Facebook group of people that are looking for such services, they're talking about such things, and you have some kind of qualitative or quantitative approach to knowing that this will work. There are people responding to my surveys, willing to pay, saying that this is the problem, and they want to try my system in a better. And a landing page is not a product, it's just a landing page. And I've got, in the last 1 week, 1,000 people signed up saying they're keen. So you're showing that there is interest. So any way you can prove some form of achievement is always great. Especially if you can do some kind of dry test, you do some AdWords, people search, they see your site, they click and they enter, they put in their name in a newsletter. That's some form of conversion when people were looking for such content. I just don't have the solution yet. So all that can be some form of achievement. Once you show that there's some kind of indication from the market, then they want to know, do you know what's next? So what does your milestones look like? So you're going to ask for money, but before that, you got to show you have a plan. How will the system look like? How will it be built? What's going to happen in your early stage? We don't expect to know things in years. I want to know things in months, right? Unless you're already established, then fine. Some of you are already established, you may have for this year and the next year. That's fine. But if you're early, 0 level, then in the next 6 months, what's going to happen? So there's no point telling an investor, my roadmap for the next 5 years will be not even launched. Don't even believe that brand is going to exist in the next 6 months. Sorry, this is an example. Can you show me what's going to happen in the next 1 year at least? The most 18 months, no more than 18 months, right? So that's the milestones. The idea again for the investors to see a train of thought, like how deep have you thought about the execution of this product at the various junctions you may serve as you build a product? It's all a test, right? And then it wraps on with the team slide. Again, team slide shouldn't just be a slide to complete the deck. Most people, when you say this is a 3-minute pitch, they will spend 2 minutes, 50 seconds up here. And the last one is, this is my team and this is how much I'm asking, thank you very much. There's no point putting teams like that. We want to know who is in this team. why is this people part of your co-founders, like the 3, 4 of you, right? You've got a few also. Why did this team come together? What did they bring from past track record, and what are they going to do for the future of this particular business? So spend time to talk about the teammates and stuff in this thing. It's not just about you. And then finally, the ask slide, where it's an amount that you want when you try and articulate what is it for. You don't have to talk about my valuation and do this and give you 100%. Keep the discussion for when someone's interested. Also, it's strategy, right? Don't put your valuation out there for everyone. But when you talk about taking $1 million, what is it going to do? Putting $500,000, how much? What is it going to do? Whatever amount, translate to some kind of output. With a 200,000 ringgit, I'll get my product and my first 5,000 customers amounting to X amount of revenue if you're 0. So if you already have some kind of revenue, with this money, I'm going to 4X my revenue in the next 18 months. Give some kind of outcome to that investment so that investors will be like, some quantifiable aspects to this stuff, right? So that's typically what you want. So if you do this correctly, then it feels like, whoa, this is the team, because they have a team, they know what the money is for, they have a plan of how it's rolled out. And in the last couple of months, because this program is 12 months long, you've done things to kind of build achievements, not like I've just built a slide deck and crossing my fingers, and if you give me the money, I can build it and I will then go to market. So you got to show that you're hungry and you can basically do things really scrappy, even now without the product, right? So the alternatives to this would basically say the team slide can basically go up. If you have a killer team in the industry, especially in tourism, you need to have some kind of licenses in place. You may have some kind of OTA license in place, some killer partners in place. Then you bring this up because you don't want someone to be, I mean, most investors or anyone listening to pitch are always skeptical. Always thinking, sure not, you can do this. So you don't want to listen to the problem and your approach just to only find out at the end, like, oh, they actually have the expertise. So if it's dependent on your expertise and your licenses and your know-how and your partners, then just bring that up straight away and talk about the team per se. Me and my team who's been in the industry for the last 10 years, we've got all these licenses in place. We know what our problems to be solved because these are our customers telling it, right? Because of that, we're now building this solution. Straight away, we know like, okay, you're credible. Because you came from the industry, you have the regulated licenses to do this. Fine, whatever you're going to say, I will now have more confidence that it's for you to basically do it. Now I just want to evaluate whether it's viable for you to do it. So you can bring that up. The other approach is to basically take your achievements. If you're trying to do something that is groundbreaking, people will be skeptical again, and you bring it up. You can just say like, in the last 2 months of this program, I want to show you what we discovered with our potential customers. We created a landing page of which 3,000 people signed up, converted, and even when we did right just to try and charge them, how many people signed up, showing there was a demand for this. Now let's go in further. Then you go back to the homepage, the problem. You bring evidence first always. So this is easier for someone who's been in the market because you've got evidence, you can show last 6 months sales, last 6 months conversion. But when you're 0, if you can still show some kind of achievement, it's always better than nothing at all, right? So that's the trick of how you basically. Any questions? My boss right next to taking photos of the fact that. Okay, so let's show you a template that we expect you to basically. And of course, you make it your own, just the segments. So title slide, very obvious. And then this is available to you in the onboarding, right? So we put in all the typical slides you would need so that you can do it in 3 minutes. It's about 12 slides maximum for a pitch deck like this. And we've given you all the prompts. All you have to do is basically answer these questions, have your powwow session with your mentors. And they're all great spin doctors, Rodi, Max, and myself. And we'll tell you how you should be telling the story. Of course, we want it to be your own story, but some people need some help. And because we hear so many pitches, we can tell you what works and what doesn't work. But what we don't want you to do is give you a script where it's not natural to you. Everyone has a different way of how they basically present. Whether you're humorous, you're factual, something in between, you still have to make the pitch yours. So that part we can't help with. The facts and what should be said, when it should be said, that's what we give you as guidance. The rest is on you. So you gotta practice. Don't keep it till the end. That's why we bring that right to the onboarding. So you know what's out for you for the next 2 months. Yeah. So every single prompt in terms of how you prove the problem or the opportunity is either or how you talk about the solution or value proposition. What in the world is value proposition compared to just talking about the offer? And we'll start with more deeper within the content and videos and the pictures. So from the product, how much is enough to explain? So for you, you're always in love with your product. You want to show me every goddamn slide, including your error and pop-up slides. So we are not in love with your product. So when we come in, we can count. We'll say, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of that. So most of the time, the new page is going to be 15, 20 minutes long with this. Because every goddamn slide will think it's important. So we'll just pick the best and say, just highlight this, right? So you gotta keep those 3 steps. The market is where most people have the difficulties to explain how big it could possibly be. Like, what is big? How big is big? Why would an investor care if the market is not big enough? Because then they'll say, yo, this is called a hobby. This is for you. This is not for me to invest into. So it's got to be big enough. And how do you articulate that? So sometimes, even if you want to do a local business, you might need to think about the approach and how this becomes regional quicker than later, so that someone's interested to come in. Because in the local context, it might be too small, right? So those are little things we'll discuss. And it's again case to case depending on your approach and your business model. So eventually you'll visualize it to this extent. So I want to show you an actual example of it. So these are just the templates. A business model, revenue model, how do you make money, who do you charge, how often do you charge, how much do you make from that. And sometimes, just explain in terms of how do you even know this business model works. Have you spoken to your customers, your potential customers, and see if they are willing to give you that kind of commissions in the first place? So some of these things can be reinforced with methods of intent. So I think some of the teams in the past Cohort did that. You're trying to work with other businesses, you get them to agree to give you a letter of intent. So letter of intent is basically just an understanding between 2 parties that say, we're going to work with each other, but it's not binding. When you have the solution, I'm going to look at it. I know about this business model. I'm kind of okay, but I'm not finalized on it. I'm not signing to say I'm guaranteed to share revenue. But at least there's some kind of positive indication the potential partners are waiting for your solution, right? So it reinforces. So competitor analysis are normally going to come into 2 forms. Whether you create a table and show me feature by feature how you're different from that person, or you show me a very consulting deck where it's a 2x2 matrix, and your job is to always be top right corner. So if for some reason you can't find the X and Y coordinates that is in a magnitude that allows you to be top right corner, then do not ever show this slide. Do not show your slide where you're basically down here and you promise one day you'll be there. Just don't do that. Then you basically fall backwards. What are they doing and what are you doing and what your different approaches are for feature to feature. But make sure you compare things that are fair. You must always get the most ticks, but don't compare the most silliest conditions and features that always make you look, right? So that's something again, we'll talk to you about that. And then coming towards the end of the viability is the go-to market. This is where we always spend time on to see that the more elaborate the go-to market, the more we feel like you really understand your business and you know from not just the surface level approaches, how you're going to get the customers to pay you, right? How do you basically get to the customers? So this is something to think about. And then in terms of milestones or attractions or achievements, like I said, any form of validation, including saying that I've got no products, no output, but I did a survey and I got 300 people to do my survey. Out of 300, show some nice little charts, what they basically said. But if you did a survey for 10 people, that's not really achieved. It needs to be more than 50 for it to be some kind of significance in terms of a data set. So the more you have 100, 200, 300, start the surveys now, cumulative to the end of the program, then that's something you can also prove as evidence. Okay? So if there's financial metrics, talk about that. The website's ready to pack. You got some kind of key metrics in terms of how long people stay, how many people come on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, any form of stats will be great. And then the roadmap, what does the product roadmap look like? The extension plans, what are your goals, fundraising goals, possible, but usually we mostly want to see product work, what's going to be built. And each feature will basically bring you more customers, right? So talk about the product. And then in terms of the G, who are the key people in the team, what are their roles, what are their backgrounds. We talk about their backgrounds, whether it's education, they came from different kind of working backgrounds. You wouldn't write a narrative of them, just show the names, the roles, logos. The logos of where they work, where they study. Now, some of the people go like, it's really important where they study. No, it depends on what you're trying to prove. Just building something like it, maybe not. You're trying to show something like groundbreaking, that means some kind of crazy engineering background. Maybe it creates some kind of so again, case to case basis. And then finally, the ask like where what do you want? This is your chance if you're pitching in front of investors, you put a number there. Don't just say that I don't know, I just want mentoring, there's an opportunity to put a number, then you see who wins, right? So that's typically the flow of our pitch. You've got title slide, either a problem or an opportunity. The only thing where it's going to be complicated if you're building marketplaces and the problems are on both sides. The problem of the customer, the problem of the seller. So you could do both sides, but normally we'll say if you can pick one, pick the hardest stuff for one, because you got 3 minutes. When you keep talking about the problems of both sides, solution of both sides, everything on both sides, you won't have enough problem. Forget confused. Where are you in terms of this pitch? So be careful of that again. You'll talk to your mentors who can help you understand, right? So what is the actual solution? Why is yours available? How does the product work? Is there some kind of underlying magic within? It's complicated, draw a chart.